You will die in 30 minutes. What do you do? Guess I'll just die. Absolutely nothing. Share my credit card details to the internet. Tell everyone that I'm gonna BRB. Be indecisive and die without getting much done. Die faster in spite. What's a product sold on just placebo effect? When I deliver commissioned creative work the same or next day, folks assume I didn't spend enough time on it. People are thrilled if I wait 3 days to deliver because they feel I worked on their assignment non-stop even if I was finished a day or two before. Back in the late 1990s, I programmed an online ordering website for one of my company's clients. When it went live, they started receiving orders right away. But also were getting a lot of customers calling and saying the order didn't go through, when in fact it had. After enough customer feedback had been gathered, we realized that the reason people thought the order form wasn't working was that it was processing the orders too quickly. The solution? I programmed a 3-second delay before the confirmation screen loaded. That delay served absolutely no purpose other than to give customers a sense that something was happening behind the scenes. It worked. The complaints ceased. Any water that claims to be extremely alkaline. When I worked, trained tech support, we would constantly get pushback from customers when we requested them to power cycle their phone, which would solve their problem 9 times out of 10. So I told them to have the customer read certain numbers off the back of the battery, while it was still removable. That we didn't require. After that, we told them we had refreshed a few systems, and they replaced their battery, and everything was fine. When batteries couldn't be removed, we'd warn them that if the phone was turned on while the update was being performed, it could damage their SIM card. As a result, they'd make sure to turn off their phones. I wouldn't do anything. They'd switch it back on, and everything was fine. But what if I'd told them to reboot their phones? There's no way. Those rubber athletic bracelets with the copper in them. My wife does essential oils. I think it smells nice but doesn't actually do anything. How would you survive on just $5 a week? I really do hope you're just asking randomly. Commit a crime and go to prison. I would not. Honestly. Go to soup kitchens in your area and look for food pantries. Those are there for people going through rough times. With $5 in Argentina we can buy 2 packs of pasta. $1. 2 boxes of tomato sauce. $1. Soya vegan meat 2 pounds. $1. 3 eggs x6. $0. 65. 1 pound of potato. $0. 50. And some fruit like bananas or apples 1 pound. $0. 5 equals $5. I think I would survive with this. Eating some pasta with soya in lunch and potato with eggs at dinner per day. If Op is asking for serious advice, might I recommend eat cheap and healthy? What's a super sketchy U.S. city that we never hear about? Monroe, Louisiana. It's gotten the nickname Gunroe. Shootings every day. Most of them unsolved. Drugs galore. Especially meth and crack. Homeless everywhere. Poverty is rampant. Part of the city is an actual slum. Yakima, Washington. I lived in a neighboring town for a while and bodies would always turn up in farmers' fields. That cartel in Yakima had dropped off there. Edit. Didn't think this would become my highest upvoted comment, but I'm glad the world now knows now too. Just avoid Yakima lol. Myrtle Beach SC. Promoted as a family-friendly beach destination. In reality it lacks any meaningful infrastructure. Is rife with poverty and drug addiction. Teeming with sex offenders and very familiar with murder and or missing women and girls. Stay away from the outskirts especially. Daytona Beach. FL. Imagine a bunch of alcoholic high school kids came for spring break in 1984. And never left. And never grew up. North Las Vegas. Not the north of the Strip, I mean the city of North Las Vegas. I used to work there at a 7-Eleven. It's fucking rough. Meth addicts. Crime. Homeless everywhere. And gang activity. Las Vegas has some hoods, but Northtown is probably the worst, although the Boulder Highway crew can chime in. West Frankfort, Illinois. It's empty. It seems like the only people that live there are people who can't afford to leave. I went to a residential area and most houses had for sale signs or were abandoned. What costs more than it's worth? Food and drinks at sporting events. Not wearing a condom. A horse. We say, the horse is the least expensive part of owning a horse. It's expensive to feed, house and keep healthy. Not to mention happy. I lived on a farm a lot of my childhood and I still don't understand why we had to have horses. Don't get me wrong. I loved them as much as I did my dog. But it was a lot. School textbooks. Printer ink.
Subscribe, my brothers.